What is going on YouTube? It's Diver, and today we're going to be taking a look at how to win almost every single match of free-for-all that you play in Black Ops 3. So without further ado, let's get on with the video. So you came here looking at how to win almost every single match of free-for-all. Well, you came to the right video. All I can say is that you can trust me on these tips and tricks. I've been playing free-for-all as my most frequent game type ever since Call of Duty World at War. I don't regret it one bit. This gives me the advantage over the modern player or the average player because I know every single spawn of every single map in Call of Duty that comes up in the free-for-all rotation. I can also name a bunch of the maps that come up in the free-for-all rotation. I know how each developer sets up their spawn systems and where the spawns are, like I said. So you can trust me on this one. So let's get down to it. The first tip I have is a class setup. Now I know a lot of people really ignore class setups. They don't really care for it because they might want to go for a challenge or something. Well, free-for-all is great for challenges too because most of the time you're trying to get 100 kills or 100 headshots or 50 kills. You play 2 games of free-for-all and you win. Then you have your bliss camo or your burnt camo, which are the most 2 sought after to get gold. But when it comes to picking a weapon, it's very map dependent. Now what I mean by that is I know for offhand that Hunted and Infection do come up in the Black Ops 3 free-for-all rotation, and those are pretty large maps. But most of the fighting happens on the outsides. Rarely do you see a gunfight go down mid-map. So if you are one of those people that's looking over mid-map, well first, what are you doing there? And second, I recommend running something of an AR. But if you're going to be running around the spawns and inside, I recommend running an SMG. Now when it comes to the perks, the first perk I recommend is Ghost, because a lot of people easily get UAVs when it comes to free-for-all. The second perk I recommend would be Fast Hands, because when you do get into a gunfight, you want to have your sights up before anyone else, or before the enemy player. Now for the next 2 perks, yes, the perks 3 slot, you might have to take up 2 slots. If you do have a good headset, then you can run Awareness, but I do recommend putting Dead Silence and Awareness on, just because sound whoring is very, very useful when it comes to free-for-all, especially when you're one off a streak. Speaking of score streaks, the recommended streaks that I have for you will be the UAV, the counter UAV, and the hater. Notice I'm not running any lethal score streaks. Well, you know I'm not a big fan of lethal score streaks. But UAV just to get an eyes on the enemy, and you can also get an eyes onto where they're spawning from. Counter UAV because if you're running unsuppressed, then enemies won't see you. And hater, well, it's the hater. We all love the hater. Now when it comes to picking a specialist, there's one specialist that comes to mind, and that would be kinetic armor. Kinetic armor can save your butt in a bunch of gunfights, and I do recommend it in any game mode if you're trying to go for a bunch of kills. Now, for example, if I'm getting on a one-on-one gunfight, I'm really close to my hater, and I'm in free-for-all, I can pop the kinetic armor and run into a spawn, and I can guarantee you that there's going to be someone looking over, or spawning there rather. Now when it comes to getting a majority of the kills, you're going to want to know how to do that, and to do that, it's basically spawn trapping. Now, it's not exactly spawn trapping, but it's controlling a spawn. And what I mean by that, I'm going to use Combine as an example. If you're running control room and you look out to that spawn, where I believe the C flag is in domination, there are 2 spawns back there. One is in the far back of the map, and one is to the left side if you're coming out of control room, right behind the truck. Now nobody will spawn in front of you in free-for-all. Now, if you're staring at a spawn, no one's going to spawn there, but the moment you turn your back, it gives the developer, the software, they developed it so that as soon as an enemy turns their backs, someone else can spawn where the enemy turned their back to. So, basically patrol an area. Find a little circle to run, or find a nice place where you can run around and make sure you know someone's going to spawn there, or there, or there. And there are a lot of different ways to do this, but for you to do this comfortably, you're going to want to need to learn the spawns, and that's pretty difficult, especially if you haven't played free-for-all a lot before. So if you haven't played free-for-all a lot before, then go in and learn the spawns for yourself, because it'll be very beneficial. And how to learn the spawns, well basically what you want to do is hit up a private match, free-for-all, and turn on some bots. Now that's going to give you a great idea on almost every map where the spawns go to, because when you do die in free-for-all, the odds are you're going to spawn either really close to where you died, which is the revenge spawn system that Treyarch implements, where it spawns you closer to the enemy that recently killed you so you can get revenge, or you either spawn halfway across the map or on the other side of the map. So wherever you spawn, you want to know where the spawns are going to be so you have the advantage over the enemy. Now there are a couple of key maps that I do recommend playing. Yes, I said maps. There are a few maps that I do recommend playing if you want to win free-for-all very easily. They have really easy spawns to predict, and a few of them are just the easiest maps to ever just predict the spawns. You've never had to play before, but you can easily predict if you just watch where you spawn. Now the first map is Nuketown. You all know the spawns on Nuketown. This is the third time that we've had Nuketown come around, and it's in the free-for-all circuit now for everybody. So when you get on Nuketown, you're gonna know basically every spawn because it's a small map, so you won't have to really guess where they are. Combine is pretty great too because a lot of the spawns are on the edges of the map and you'll rarely spawn in the middle. Exodus, yes, Exodus is actually a very easy map to spawn trap just for the simple fact that everyone really spawns outside and most of the map is indoors. Fringe is also an easy map to spawn trap in because not a lot of people spawn in the middle of the map like I said before. You're either going to be spawning barn side or grandma's side, or train side. But most of the time, train side has eyes over it at all times, so you're probably not going to spawn there. So, I hope you enjoyed the video. Remember to give it a big thumbs up. Remember to go check out the channel. If you like the content, click the subscribe button. I really appreciate it. But above all else, have a nice day. Peace!